Cheri from The Watering Mouth here again. This video is about the view from day 27 of my 42-day challenge. So if you haven't seen it already, check out the first video that I made about my reasoning why I'm doing this particular challenge. I've done this a few times in the past. This particular time is going pretty well. I actually find it a lot easier than the last time to stick with this, because I think the last time I was successful in making a big change in my taste buds, appreciating the flavors of natural foods instead of always needing salt to make things taste better. So I've felt a lot more satisfied this time food-wise, but there are some rough places. And I wanted to make this video, hold on, let me prop this up a little bit more. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to describe some of the challenges I've been having, especially this past weekend with this challenge. So, uh-oh, we have a visitor. Hi, Moo. Hi. She just said hi. So, day 27. So the first few weeks were pretty good. There was maybe one or two challenging days. You know, I do have times where, Moo wants to be in the video too. I do have times where, this is going to be a problem. I do have some times where I feel super cravey, and I pretty much get that almost every day around, like, I'd say, you know, 2, 3, 4 p.m. I get that kind of cravey feeling. I've always gotten that, and I never really got too much relief from it. I would just always have a secret weapon, which is to use my emergency sweet tooth smoothie, which I'll be posting sometime in the future. So check out on my website for that. It's a real quick smoothie to throw together. It's got a lot of great nutrition, and it totally takes away my craving, and then I just drink a bunch of water after it. You can do this with any smoothie, so you don't necessarily need this particular recipe, but of course it has a lot of kale or spinach or whatever green you want to use. So there's really good nutrition in it, but it really takes away that craving very quickly. So that's helped. I haven't used that much during this time. I have used it a bit, but I also have been relying a little bit on like chewing gum. That's helped as well. So I use that sometimes, and then I try to just drink a ton of water and get over it. The part that's been so difficult, and what I wanted to kind of talk about in this particular video, is why day 25 and day 26 were so difficult for me. So I made another video, you can check that out, about the tips that I use while I'm on a challenge, and I'll put all the links that I can down below for these kinds of videos. The tips that I use for these kinds of challenges to keep me on track and whatever. Pretty much once I commit to a challenge like this, I don't usually stop. But it does take a lot for me to commit. Like, I've been trying to do this challenge for, you can talk to one of my friends, like every single month for the last like 8 months. I'm like, I'm gonna do the challenge again, I'm gonna do the challenge again. And then I would do it for a day and I couldn't stick with it. But then this time it was just, you know, that was it. I knew I was gonna do it. I would stay on it, no problem. It doesn't mean it's easy, but I would stay on it. See, I've been exercising a lot during this challenge, a lot more than I usually do. I've been doing a lot of hiking. Found this really amazing hiking group that does very difficult hikes. I'm actually challenging myself a lot physically, which I never have done before. I've never been like a very athletic type person. And I actually started to feel like I could have some really good gains here in this city because it's not as humid. So I don't feel like, I mean, Florida, where I used to live, was just terrible. I hated exercising outdoors. The only thing I would do would be rollerblading, and I wouldn't do that very hard. I would just, you know, do sort of the bare minimum and sort of keep in shape that way, but I was never really an athlete at all. I've never been that kind of a person. But here, this hiking group, they just do really, really hard hikes, and I love it. And it's really challenged me in a way that, you know, I'm starting to learn more about my physical limitations and starting to stretch those limitations and get better. On Wednesday, I did this huge hike that really kicked my butt. If you follow me on Snapchat, you'll be able to see more about that, because I always post about what I'm doing on a daily basis. My username is The Watering Mouth, so follow me there. So I post about it on there, and what happened that day was I got these major blisters. Like, I mean, I can usually pretty much deal with blisters, but these were like not pretty. Like, it was bad, okay? Really bad blisters. And they're so bad that I haven't been able to wear shoes at all because they're just so painful. And so I haven't been able to run, I haven't been able to hike, I haven't been able to do anything. And it's been so frustrating. So when I get in this kind of a feeling like I can't exercise for some reason, then I start to feel really down. And then inevitably, old patterns start to creep back in because I'm not taking care of myself, and then I stop taking care of myself food-wise too. This past weekend, we couldn't make it about exercise, which we usually do, but this weekend we made it about, we did like a little trip. We went to a date farm, which is a farm that makes dates, right? Like they grow dates, that kind of a farm. And there's one nearby that's a really cool place to go for a little day trip, and we went. But the problem was, as I was thinking to myself, like, oh, this is gonna be such a great trip, I really want want to check it out. But then it turns out that they bake stuff too. And I was like, well, I have to try the baked goods, you know, or doing this trip, I have to do it. So then I kind of got in this mindset of like, oh, it's a cheat day kind of a thing. But then I only ended up having like a bite or two of the baked goods just to try them. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I wasn't really that, I mean, they were good, but I wasn't really like craving having a bunch of this date bread or the cookies or anything like that. It wasn't that big of a deal to me. And then I started to sample a bunch of the dates because they had all these containers where you could sample all the dates. And I don't know, I guess something like about that, just all the sugar or something, I'm not really sure, just got me off track. So I was feeling so cravey all day, just like, I have to eat more things. And I was feeling like this old feeling I used to have, you know, a few years back where I get so cravey and it makes me crazy in my head. Like I can't stop thinking about having this food, whatever the food is. And because this is such a low salt challenge and no oil, just no bad stuff, it really makes it so sometimes if you feel deprived, you feel deprived. And you start thinking about stuff you would never eat, like hot dogs and Doritos and all this like crazy stuff that if you were on like just regular, not even on a challenge, you would never like think about having those things. Or I wouldn't, at least at this point. I'm kind of at that place where I don't worry too much about that stuff. I mean, maybe every once in a while, but I wouldn't have this like overwhelming urge to eat those things. And then that day I was just, oh my gosh, I have to eat everything. So I stayed on track kind of like, the thing was I did binge a little bit when I got home though. I had a bunch of rice paper wraps, which, if you don't know what rice paper wraps are, they kind of can make like a burrito out of vegetables and stuff like that. You can like lay vegetables in and then sort of roll them up. And the rice paper, once you dip it in water, it becomes this sort of squishy, like gummy kind of wrap. And I think they're made of rice, so they have that kind of sticky texture that rice does. And I just find it to be so comforting and satisfying, like having a huge bowl of pasta or something. You know, you get that kind of a feeling. And so I ate a bunch of those as a dessert, like dipped them in some peanut butter and then had some dates with it for some extra sweetness. But the problem was I couldn't stop. Like I just kept eating them and eating them and eating them. And these kinds of foods make you feel really heavy and they take a long time to digest. They're just not the best thing to binge on. And then the next day I did the same thing. We didn't go anywhere special. It's just that we were sitting home most of the day and we didn't really have much to do. And so I just binged again and I just couldn't stop myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Like I'm just feeling so bad about myself. And it was so frustrating. You know, you kind of just get in this place where you can't get out of it and you start to feel really down about yourself because you're doing this stuff that you don't want to be doing, but you can't help it. And those are the times where you start to realize, you know, what are the tricks that I use to stop doing this stuff? And usually my trick is exercise, like get out of the house, go do something else that is going to take your mind off of it or whatever. And exercise is not an option. If it just hurts so bad, it's going to take a few more days for me to get back to a place where I can actually put shoes on again. It's just been like I don't have my normal tricks, you know? It's been so frustrating. I'm not really, like I didn't make this video for any specific reason other than to just sort of give some information about where I'm at and what a struggle is really like for me because I'm struggling right now. Today's been pretty good because I got super committed after feeling so bad about myself this weekend. I mean, it's not like I'm doing crazy bad things, like don't get me wrong, but for my challenge and I'm just not feeling great about myself. You know, I'm more than halfway through, kind of just really want to like power through and get this thing done and do really well with it. I always find so much benefit from doing this. I feel so great. Like my energy level is crazy. And I'm doing these crazy hikes that I would never expect I could do before, but I feel completely energetic. I feel fueled. I feel satisfied most of the time when I eat. If I eat enough, I don't want to eat anything else for the rest, you know, like it really fills you up. I'm having enough water. I'm doing all the right things. I'm feeling really good about myself because of this challenge. Whereas when I'm not really doing the challenge and I'm not being super careful, it can be a lot harder to feel really good about yourself and to feel motivated to eat healthfully. So these challenges really do help to reset me. And they also just give me really incredible nutrition. Like I'm always thinking about vegetables first. Salad is the main dish, like get the vegetables in, eat the vegetables, and I always end up eating tons more than I would ever eat otherwise, and I know that's really helping so many processes in your body, like cell regeneration and fixing problems that you have and things like that. It just helps with everything, so it's really important to do, but it's not the easiest thing ever. So I just wanted to give a quick update on where I was. I just want you to know that it's not easy. Like it is not all easy. It's quite challenging at times, and you know, update from the middle of this challenge is I'm feeling great. I'm down about 8-10 pounds now, which is awesome, and that makes me feel good in itself. and it's been totally worth it. And I hope you join me again someday in the future when I do it again. I do plan on actually releasing a formal version of this challenge sometime very soon, so be on the lookout for that. I'm also creating some free PDFs and some free guides and things like that that I'll have on my website as well as far as resources. So if you're interested, there'll be some more information like that. Make sure to follow me on Snapchat so you can see what I'm doing on a daily basis. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, because that makes me very happy. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.